The stars looked cold and distant through the bridge windows of the research vessel Meridian. Captain Elena Rodriguez stood with her hands behind her back, watching the endless black of space. 20 years of deep space missions had taught her to read the silence between the stars. Tonight, that silence felt wrong. "Captain, we're getting a distress signal from New Haven Colony," said Lieutenant Sarah Walsh from her station. Her voice was steady, but Elena caught the edge of worry beneath it. Elena turned toward the communications station where Marcus Kane was working. His fingers moved quickly over the controls, pulling in the weak signal from the outer rim. "What are they saying, Marcus?" Marcus looked up from his screen. His young face was pale. "It's not good, Captain. The message is broken up, but I'm hearing words like consumed and everything gone. The signal cut out about 6 hours ago." Dr. James Mitchell stepped forward from his position at the science station. As the ship's xenobiologist, he had seen many strange things in the galaxy, but something about this felt different. "How far are we from New Haven?" 18 hours at maximum speed, answered Tom Bradley from the engineering station. The chief engineer was already running calculations. In his head, "I can push the engines harder if needed." Elena nodded. "Do it. Send word to Earth Command that we're responding to the distress call. And Tom, make sure all systems are ready. I have a feeling this won't be a simple rescue mission." The Meridian changed course and jumped to faster than light speed. The 200 crew members went about their duties, but everyone could feel the tension building. New Haven was a peaceful research colony. What could have happened there? 18 hours later, they dropped out of hyperspace at the edge of the New Haven system. What they saw made everyone on the bridge stop and stare where New Haven Colony should have been. There was something else entirely. A massive shape covered the entire planet's surface like a living blanket. It pulsed and moved with its own rhythm. Tendrils as thick as city buildings reached up into space, twisting and searching. "Sweet Mother of Earth," whispered Lieutenant Walsh, "what is that thing?" Dr. Mitchell was already scanning with every sensor the ship had. "It's biological, but not like anything in our databases. The readings are incredible." "This thing is huge, Captain. It covers the entire colony site and extends down into the planet's crust." Marcus stared at his communications board. Strange signals were coming from the creature. They weren't radio waves or any normal transmission. They felt older, like echoes from some ancient time. "Captain, I'm picking up bioelectrical patterns from that thing. It's almost like it's trying to communicate." "Can you understand it?" Elena asked. "Not yet. The patterns are complex, layered. There's something underneath, though, something that feels almost familiar." Elena made her decision. "Take us closer, but keep us at a safe distance. I want to know what happened to the colonists." As the Meridian moved nearer to the planet, the massive creature seemed to notice them. Several of the huge tendrils turned toward their ship. The thing pulsed brighter, and the bioelectrical signals Marcus was receiving became stronger. "Captain, I'm reading life signs," Dr. Mitchell said, excitement and confusion in his voice. "Thousands of them, maybe tens of thousands. They're coming from inside the creature. Survivors from the colony?" Elena asked. "I don't think so. These readings are different. The life signs are small, clustered together in the creature's core. And Captain, they don't match human biology." Before Elena could respond, the creature moved. One of its massive tendrils swept toward the Meridian with impossible speed. Lieutenant Walsh's hands flew over her controls. Evasive maneuvers. The ship rolled hard to port, but the tendril grazed their hull. The lights flickered as the impact sent shockwaves through the ship. Alarms began blaring throughout the vessel. "Damage report," Elena called out. "Hull breach on Deck 7, Tom Bradley reported. "Emergency seals are holding, but we've lost some sensor arrays." The creature pulled back and seemed to study them. For a moment, everything was still. Then it attacked again, this time with multiple tendrils at once. "All power to shields," Elena ordered. "Return fire." The Meridian's weapons opened up on the creature. Plasma bolts and particle beams struck its surface, but they seemed to have no effect. The creature's skin rippled where the shots hit, then healed itself within seconds. Our weapons aren't even scratching it. Lieutenant Walsh said, grimly. Another tendril struck them, this one wrapping partway around the ship's hull. The metal groaned under the pressure. Through the bridge windows, they could see the creature's surface up close. It wasn't just biological. There were mechanical parts woven into its flesh, ancient technology that pulsed with dark energy. This thing isn't natural, Dr. Mitchell said, studying his readings. Someone or something built it. The biological and mechanical components are perfectly integrated. It's like a living weapon. Marcus looked up from his station, his face pale but determined. Captain, those bioelectrical patterns I'm reading. They're getting stronger, and I think I'm starting to understand them. What are you hearing? Pain, Captain, ancient pain. And something else underneath it. Something that's been buried for a very long time. The creature's grip on their ship tightened. More alarms sounded as hull plates began to buckle. But Marcus noticed something strange. The creature's attacks weren't random. It seemed to be trying not to crush them completely. Captain, I don't think it wants to destroy us, Marcus said. At least not all of it wants to destroy us. Elena looked at him sharply. Explain. The bioelectrical patterns I'm picking up. They're conflicted. It's like there are two different minds in there, fighting each other. One wants to kill us, but the other is holding back. Another massive impact shook the ship. Tom Bradley's voice came over the comm system from engineering. Captain, we can't take much more of this. The hull is starting to give way. Elena made a command decision. All crew to emergency stations. Prepare for possible evacuation. But Marcus, keep working. On those signals. If there's something in there that doesn't want to kill us, we need to find it. As the Meridian fought to survive in the grip of the ancient creature, Marcus bent over his controls with new determination. The signals were getting clearer now. Beneath the rage and programmed violence, he could sense something else. Something that had been waiting for a very long time to be heard. The creature that had consumed New Haven Colony was indeed a terror. But Marcus was beginning to suspect that terror wasn't its true nature. Something inside that massive form was calling out, and for the first time in millennia, someone was finally listening. The battle for survival had begun, but it would soon become something much more important. It would become a battle for redemption, understanding, and the chance to heal wounds that had festered among the stars for ages beyond counting. The emergency lights cast red shadows across the damaged corridors of the Meridian. Captain Elena Rodriguez moved through the ship, checking on her crew. Half of them were dead. The other half were scared, injured, and running out of hope. The creature had finally released its grip on their ship, but only after crushing 3 entire sections. The Meridian was badly hurt. Life support was failing in many areas. The engines were damaged beyond repair. Elena found her surviving officers in the ship's core section, the most protected part of the vessel. It was crowded with crew members who had escaped from the damaged areas. Medical officers worked on the wounded while engineers tried to keep the power running. Status report, Elena said as she joined her team. Lieutenant Sarah Walsh looked up from a tactical display. Her uniform was torn and she had a bandage on her forehead. We've lost sections 5 through 8 completely. Hull breaches on 4. More decks. We're sealed in here for now, but if that thing attacks again, we won't survive. Tom Bradley was working on a damaged control panel. Sparks flew from exposed wires as he tried to reroute power. Life support is holding, but barely. We have maybe 6 hours of air left in this section. The communication array is damaged, but Marcus thinks he can get it working again. Elena turned to Dr. James Mitchell, who was studying readings on a portable scanner. What about that creature? Any new information? Dr. Mitchell shook his head. It's incredible, Captain. The scans I managed to get show technology I've never seen before. The biological parts are definitely not from any known species. But the mechanical components are ancient, older than any civilization we've encountered. How old? Elena asked. Maybe 50,000 years, maybe more. Someone built this thing a long time ago and set it loose in the galaxy. Elena walked over to where Marcus Kane was working on the communication systems. He had connected several portable units together and was running cables through holes in the damaged walls. His hands moved quickly, but she could see the concentration on his face. "Marcus, what are you hearing from that thing?" Marcus looked up at her. His young face was serious, almost haunted. "It's changed, Captain. After it let us go, the signals became different. Less angry, more confused. Like it's trying to remember something. Remember what? I'm not sure yet. But Captain, I think Dr. Mitchell was right about this being a weapon. The signals I'm getting feel like they're coming from some kind of control system, but there's something else underneath it. Something that's fighting against the control." Dr. Mitchell walked over to join them. "That matches what I'm seeing in the biological scans. The creature's behavior patterns are inconsistent. Sometimes it acts like a predator, but other times it seems almost protective." Elena frowned. "Protective of what?" "Those life signs I detected earlier. They're still there, still alive inside the creature's core. And Captain, I think they might be offspring." Marcus suddenly stopped working and listened to something only he could hear through his equipment. "Captain, it's moving again, but not toward us, it's moving away." Elena grabbed a pair of field glasses and looked out through one of the small windows in the core section. The massive creature was indeed moving. Its huge form was shifting across the planet's surface, but slowly, carefully. As she watched, she saw it curl its tendrils around what looked like a raised area on its back. "It's protecting something," she said softly. Marcus nodded. "The signals are clearer now. I'm getting patterns that almost sound like communications. But they're not directed at us. It's like the creature is talking to something inside itself. Can you understand what it's saying? Not words, but emotions. I'm feeling care, protection, love even, but also fear and confusion. It's like there are two different minds in there, and they want different things." Tom Bradley looked up from his repair work. "Captain, with respect, does it matter? We're trapped here. Even if this thing doesn't attack us again, we don't have enough power to get home. And our distress beacon isn't strong enough to reach Earth." From here, Elena was quiet for a moment, thinking. She had been a starship captain for 20 years. She had seen first contact situations before, both peaceful and hostile. But this was different. This creature had the power to destroy them. Easily, but it had chosen not to. "Marcus, you said the creature seems to be fighting some kind of control system?" "Yes, Captain. The aggressive signals feel artificial, like they're being forced. But the other signals, the protective ones, those feel natural, real." Dr. Mitchell was studying his scanner again. "Captain, I'm seeing something interesting. The creature's biological functions are changing. Its heart rate, if we can call it that, is slowing down. Its energy output is decreasing. It's almost like it's trying to calm itself." Elena made a decision that would have seemed crazy to most starship captains. "Marcus, I want you to try to communicate with it." Lieutenant Walsh stepped forward. "Captain, that's extremely dangerous. We don't know what might happen if we get its attention again." "We're going to die here anyway if we don't try something," Elena said. "And if Dr. Mitchell is right, if there's something alive inside that creature that needs protection, then maybe we can help each other." Marcus looked uncertain. "I don't know how to talk to something like that, Captain. The signals I'm receiving aren't like any language." Elena put her hand on his shoulder. "You said you were feeling emotions from it. Start with that. Show it that we're not a threat." Marcus took a deep breath and began working with his equipment. He started with simple mathematical sequences, the kind scientists had always believed would be universal. He transmitted basic counting patterns, then moved to more complex mathematical relationships. At first, there was no response. Then slowly the creature began to answer. Not with mathematics, but with something much more basic. The bioelectrical patterns it sent back carried feelings of curiosity, caution, and something that felt almost like hope. "It's working," Marcus said quietly. "It's responding, but not with math. It's responding with emotions." Elena felt a spark of hope for the first time since the attack began. "Keep going. Try to show it that we want to help, not hurt." Marcus closed his eyes and tried to think of peaceful, helpful thoughts. He thought about his family back on Earth, about caring for others, about protecting the weak. He tried to transmit these feelings through the equipment. The response was immediate and powerful. The creature's signals became stronger, clearer, but now they carried a deep sadness, an ancient grief that seemed to echo across the years. "Captain," Marcus said, his voice filled with wonder and sorrow, "I think this creature has been alone for a very long time. And I think someone hurt it very badly." Outside their damaged ship, the ancient creature continued its slow movements across the planet's surface. But now, for the first time in thousands of years, it was no longer completely alone. Someone was listening. Someone cared. The real communication was just beginning. The communication breakthrough changed everything aboard the Meridian. For the first time since the attack, the crew had hope. The massive creature had pulled back from the planet and was floating in space at a safe distance. Its huge form was curled in what Dr. James Mitchell now recognized as a protective position. Marcus Kane had not left his communication station in 12 hours. His eyes were red from exhaustion, but he refused to stop working. The connection with the creature was growing stronger, and with it came something unexpected. Images. "Captain Rodriguez," Marcus called out, his voice filled with excitement and confusion. "You need to see this." Elena hurried over to Marcus's station, followed by Dr. Mitchell and Lieutenant Sarah Walsh on the screen. Marcus had managed to create a visual display of the bioelectrical patterns he was receiving. But now, mixed in with the emotional signals, were actual pictures. The images were fuzzy and broken, like memories from a dream. They showed a world unlike anything the humans had ever seen. Beautiful crystalline structures grew from the ground like trees. Gentle creatures moved between them, creatures that looked similar to the massive being outside their ship, but smaller and peaceful. "These are memories," Dr. Mitchell said with amazement. "The creature is sharing its memories with you." Marcus nodded. "But they're old memories, Captain. Very old, and they're painful for it to remember." As they watched, the images changed. The peaceful world was suddenly filled with dark shapes that came from the sky. Ships that looked like nothing. In Earth's databases landed on the crystal world. The gentle creatures tried to hide, but the newcomers found them. "Who are they?" Elena asked. "I don't know," Marcus replied. "But watch what they do." The images showed the newcomers capturing the peaceful creatures. They were taken to large facilities where terrible things were done to them. The memories were so filled with pain that Marcus had to step back from his equipment. "The creature doesn't want to remember this part," he said, "but it's trying to show me something important." The memories jumped forward in time. Now they showed one of the peaceful creatures, larger than the others, being held in a massive laboratory. Mechanical devices were attached to its body. Its natural biology was being changed, twisted into something else. Dr. Mitchell was taking notes as fast as he could. "This is incredible. We're seeing the creation of a biological weapon. Someone took a peaceful species and turned them into instruments of war." The images became darker and more violent. The creature that would become the terror outside their ship was being programmed, controlled, forced to attack its own kind. The pain in these memories was so intense that alarms started going off on Marcus's equipment. "It's too much," Marcus said, pulling back from the connection. "The creature is reliving the worst moments of its existence." Elena put her hand on his shoulder. "Can you ask it to stop? Tell it we understand." Marcus worked with his controls, trying to send feelings of comfort and understanding. Slowly, the painful memories faded. But the creature sent back one more image, one that made everyone on the bridge go silent. It was a picture of the creature's homeworld, but now it was dead. The crystal structures were broken and burned. Nothing moved on the planet's surface. The species that had once lived there in peace was gone, destroyed by the very weapons that had been made from their own people. "It was the last one," Marcus said quietly, "the last of its kind, and they turned it into a weapon to destroy everything it had ever loved." Lieutenant Walsh had been studying the tactical implications of what they were seeing. "Captain, if this creature was built as a weapon by these unknown aliens, then it's been operating under their programming all this time. That's why it attacked. Yes, why it destroyed the colony. But something's changing, Dr. Mitchell added. The creature's biology is different now than when we first encountered it. It's fighting against its programming. Elena looked out at the massive form floating in space. What triggered the change? Marcus was quiet for a moment, listening to the signals from his equipment. I think it was us, Captain. Our communication attempts. No one has tried to talk to it in thousands of years. Everyone who encountered it either ran away or tried to destroy it. We're the first ones to try to understand it. Tom Bradley had been working to repair the ship's systems while the others focused on communication. Now he looked up from his work. Captain, I'm getting some interesting readings from our damaged sensors. That creature isn't just floating out. It's doing something. Elena turned to him. What kind of something? It's generating energy, but not the destructive kind we saw before. This is different. It's almost like it's trying to repair something. Dr. Mitchell checked his own instruments. Tom's right. The creature is using its biological systems to produce some kind of healing energy. And Captain, I think it's directing that energy toward our ship. As if to confirm his words, the lights in their section suddenly became brighter. Systems that had been failing began to work again. The air became fresher as the life support systems received new power. It's helping us, Elena said with wonder. Marcus was receiving new signals from the creature. These were different from the memories they had shared before. These were current thoughts, present moment communications. And they carried a message that was clear even without words. It wants to make up for what it did, Marcus translated. It knows it destroyed the colony, it knows it hurt people, and it wants to help us because we showed it kindness. Lieutenant Walsh was checking her tactical systems, which were coming back online thanks to the creature's energy. Captain, I'm reading something else. Those life signs Dr. Mitchell detected inside the creature. They're moving, becoming more active. Dr. Mitchell was studying the new readings with excitement. They're not just offspring, Captain. They're the future of this creature's species. It's been carrying them, protecting them, keeping them safe inside its own body for who knows how long. Elena felt a chill of understanding. It was programmed to be a weapon of destruction, but its deepest instinct was to protect and nurture life. That conflict has been tearing it apart for millennia. Marcus nodded, and now, for the first time, it has a choice. We've helped it remember who it really is, not just what it was made to be. The signals from the creature were becoming stronger and more complex. It was sharing not just memories now, but hopes and dreams. It wanted to raise its children in peace. It wanted to repair the damage it had been forced to cause. Most of all, it wanted to be free from the programming that had controlled it for so long. Captain, Marcus said, looking up from his equipment. With determination, it's asking for our help. It wants us to help it break free from its programming completely. But that's going to be dangerous for all of us. Elena looked around at her crew. They were battered, scared, and far from home. But she could see something in their faces that hadn't been there before. They understood that this was bigger than just their own survival. This was about redemption, about healing wounds that had been bleeding among the stars for thousands of years. What does it need us to do? She asked. The plan was dangerous beyond anything Captain Elena Rodriguez had ever approved. Marcus Kane would physically enter the creature's biomatrix, traveling deep into its core to help it fight against the programming that had controlled it for millennia. Dr. James Mitchell worked frantically to prepare a protective biosuit that would keep Marcus alive inside the alien environment. The suit was a combination of human technology and modifications based on what they had learned about the creature's biology. The internal atmosphere is unlike anything we've encountered, Dr. Mitchell explained as he made final adjustments to the suit. The creature's body processes energy and matter in ways that would kill a human instantly. This suit will create a protective bubble around you, but Marcus, if anything goes wrong in there, we won't be able to help you. Marcus checked the communication equipment built into the suit. It would allow him to maintain contact with both the ship and the creature during his journey. I understand the risks, Doctor, but we've come too far to stop now. Lieutenant Sarah. Walsh was not happy with the plan. Captain, this goes against every safety protocol we have. We're sending one of our crew into the body of an alien creature that we barely understand. If something happens to Marcus, we lose our only way to communicate with that thing. Elena had wrestled with the decision for hours, but the creature's request had been clear. It needed someone to physically interface with its core programming. The alien technology that controlled it was too complex to be disabled from the outside. The creature has been trapped for thousands of years, Elena said. If we don't help it now, it might lose the strength to fight its programming again. And if that happens, it will return to being a weapon of destruction. Tom Bradley had been preparing the ship's systems to support the mission. Captain, I've rigged the communication array to boost Marcus's signal. As long as he stays within 50 kilometers of the creature's core, we should be able to maintain contact. The creature had positioned itself close to the meridian and opened what could only be described as an entrance. A large opening appeared in its side, surrounded by protective membranes that pulsed with bioelectrical energy. The path inside was lit by a soft, organic glow. Marcus put on the biosuit and ran through the final system checks. The suit felt strange, like wearing a second skin that breathed and moved on its own. "Communication test?" he said into his helmet. "Microphone. We hear you clearly," Elena replied from the bridge. "Remember, Marcus, your job is not to fight the programming directly. You're there to help the creature remember its own strength." Marcus nodded and walked toward the airlock that would take him to the creature's entrance. As he moved through the ship's corridors, crew members stopped to wish him luck. Everyone understood that the success of this mission would determine not just their survival, but the fate of an entire species. The journey from the ship to the creature took only a few minutes, but it felt like hours. As Marcus entered the organic opening, he was amazed by what he saw. The interior was like nothing from Earth's biology textbooks. Corridors of living tissue stretched in all directions, pulsing with light and energy. "I'm inside," Marcus reported. "The creature's biology is incredible. It's like being inside a living city." The creature guided him through the complex internal pathways. Marcus could feel its presence around him, gentle and protective. The bioelectrical patterns he had been studying for days were now flowing through the walls around him, creating a constant communication link. As he traveled deeper, Marcus began to encounter the defensive systems left by the creature's original programmers. They were biomechanical guardians, part living tissue and part machine. They moved toward Marcus with hostile intent, but something stopped them before they could attack. "The creature is protecting me," Marcus reported. "Its programming is trying to activate defenses, but it's overriding them." Dr. Mitchell was monitoring Marcus's progress from the ship. "Your biosigns are stable, but I'm reading massive energy fluctuations around you. The creature is fighting a constant battle between its original nature and its programming." Marcus continued deeper into the creature's core. The walls around him began to change, showing images and memories like living pictures. He saw the creature's peaceful origins, the invasion by the unknown aliens, and the terrible transformation that followed. "I can see its memories in the walls," Marcus said. "The pain it went through was unimaginable. But underneath all that programming, its original personality is still there, still fighting." After what felt like hours of traveling through the organic corridors, Marcus reached the creature's central core. What he found there took his breath away. The core was a vast chamber filled with a complex network of biomechanical systems. At the center was the programming node the aliens had implanted thousands of years ago, but surrounding the node were hundreds of smaller chambers, each containing one of the creature's offspring. They floated in protective fluid, growing slowly, waiting to be born into a universe their mother hoped would be better than the one she had known. "Captain, you need to see this," Marcus said, activating his suit's camera. "The creature has been protecting its children all this time, keeping them safe while it fought against its programming." Elena watched the images from the bridge, amazed by what she saw. "Those children represent the future of their species. The creature has been carrying the hope of her people for millennia. Marcus approached the central programming node. It was a terrible thing, a twisted combination of alien technology and living tissue that had grown into the creature's very being over thousands of years. Destroying it might kill the creature, but leaving it intact meant the programming would eventually take control again. I can feel its pain, Marcus said, placing his hand on the biosuit's interface panel. This thing has been torturing it for so long, but I think I understand now. The solution isn't to destroy the programming, it's to transform it. Marcus began to work with the communication techniques that had connected him to the creature from the beginning. Instead of trying to fight the alien programming, he helped the creature understand that it could use the enhancements for protection instead of destruction. The process was agonizing for both of them. Marcus experienced centuries of suppressed pain and rage as the creature relived every moment of its captivity. But slowly, something new began to emerge. The creature was learning to use its enhanced abilities not as weapons, but as tools of creation and protection. It's working, Marcus reported, though his voice was strained with effort. The creature is taking control of its own programming, but Captain, this is changing everything. It's becoming something the galaxy has never seen before. The transformation was visible even from the ship. The creature's entire structure was changing, becoming more organized and purposeful. Instead of a weapon of destruction, it was becoming a living vessel capable of carrying multiple species safely through space. As the change completed, Marcus felt the creature's gratitude flowing through their connection. For the first time in thousands of years, it was truly free. Its children were safe, and its future was its own to choose. Mission accomplished, Captain, Marcus said, exhaustion and triumph in his voice. It's time to come home. The transformation was not complete. As Marcus Kane stood in the creature's core chamber, surrounded by the sleeping offspring and the ancient programming node, he realized the hardest part was still ahead. The alien technology had grown into every part of the creature's being over thousands of years. Changing it would require more than just understanding. It would require courage from both human and alien. Marcus, your biosigns are becoming unstable, Dr. James Mitchell warned from the Meridian. Whatever you're doing in there, it's putting enormous stress on your system. Marcus looked at the programming node before him. It pulsed with dark energy, fighting against the changes the creature was trying to make. The node was not just a machine. It was alive, fed by the creature's own life force, and it did not want to give up control. I can feel it fighting back, Marcus said into his communicator. The programming isn't just going to let the creature go free. It's going to fight for control until one of them dies. Captain Elena Rodriguez watched the readings from the bridge with growing concern. The energy levels inside the creature were reaching dangerous peaks. Marcus, maybe you should come back. We can find another way. No, Captain, this is our only chance. The creature has been strong enough to carry this burden for millennia. Now, I need to be strong enough to help it break free. Marcus placed his hands on the interface panel of his biosuit and opened his mind completely to the creature's experience. Immediately, he was flooded with centuries of pain, rage, and despair. The programming had not just controlled the creature's actions. It had tortured it every moment of every day, forcing it to watch as it destroyed innocent worlds. But Marcus also felt something else. He felt the creature's incredible strength, its determination to protect its children, and its never-ending hope that someday it would be free. That hope had kept it alive through the darkest times. You don't have to carry this alone anymore, Marcus whispered, speaking both aloud and through their mental connection. Let me help you. Together, human and alien began to work on the programming node. Instead of trying to destroy it, they began to rewrite it. Marcus brought human concepts of freedom, choice, and self-determination. The creature brought its deep understanding of life, growth, and protection. The process was like performing surgery on a living brain while it was still conscious. Every change they made caused waves of pain to flow through both of them. The alien programming fought back, sending false memories and phantom pains designed to make them stop. The node is adapting, Marcus reported through gritted teeth. It's trying to convince the creature that freedom means death, that it can't survive without the programming. Lieutenant Sarah Walsh was monitoring the tactical situation from the ship. Captain, I'm reading massive energy discharges from the creature. It's like there's a war going on inside it. That was exactly what was happening. The creature's core chamber shook as different parts of its programming battled for control. Some systems wanted to return to the old ways of destruction. Others embraced the new path of protection and nurturing. Marcus found himself in the middle of this internal war. The programming node sent wave after wave of hostile energy at him, trying to drive him away or destroy him. But each time it attacked, the creature's natural protective instincts defended him. I won't let it hurt you, the creature communicated, its mental voice filled with determination. You came here to help me. Now I will protect you. Dr. Mitchell was becoming increasingly worried about Marcus's condition. Captain, his neural activity is off the charts. The human brain wasn't designed to interface with alien technology like this. If this continues much longer, we could lose him. Elena faced a terrible choice. She could order Marcus to retreat, potentially saving his life but leaving the creature trapped forever. Or she could trust that somehow human determination and alien hope could overcome thousands of years of programming. Marcus, can you hear me? She called over the communication link. I hear you, Captain, Marcus replied, his voice strained but steady. We're almost there. The creature is starting to take control of its own systems, but the programming is making one last attempt to regain dominance. The final battle took place not in the physical realm, but in the realm of memory and identity. The programming node tried to convince the creature that it was nothing more than a weapon, that destruction was its only purpose. It showed false memories of the creature choosing violence, of enjoying the pain it caused, but Marcus was there to provide a different perspective. He shared human memories of choice, of people who had overcome terrible programming and conditioning to become something better. He showed the creature images of mothers protecting their children, of beings who chose love over hate even when it was difficult. You are not what they made you, Marcus said, pouring all his conviction into the words. You are what you choose to be, and you choose to protect, to nurture, to give life instead of taking it. The creature's response was like a dam bursting. All the love it had kept hidden for thousands of years, all the care it had poured into protecting its children, all the hope it had maintained through the darkest times came flooding out. This flood of positive emotion overwhelmed the programming node, transforming its dark purpose into something entirely new. Instead of a system for controlling a weapon, the node became a system for coordinating a living ship. Instead of programming for destruction, it now held instructions for creation, protection, and the nurturing of life across the galaxy. It's done, Marcus said, his voice filled with wonder and exhaustion. The creature is free, truly free. The change was visible throughout the creature's massive form. Its biomechanical systems reorganized themselves with new purpose. Weapons became tools for clearing space debris. Attack systems became defensive shields. Most importantly, the chambers holding the creature's offspring began to glow brighter. As they prepared for the birth of a new generation, Tom Bradley was monitoring the energy output from the engineering station. Captain, the creature is generating massive amounts of clean energy, more than enough to repair our ship and get us home. But the most important change was in the creature itself. For the first time in millennia, it was at peace. The constant war between its programming and its nature was over. It could finally be what it had always wanted to be, a protector and nurturer of life. Marcus, it's time to come home, Elena said softly, as Marcus made his way back through the creature's organic corridors. He could feel the difference in everything around him. The walls pulsed with contentment instead of pain. The bioelectrical patterns carried joy instead of rage. The creature was finally truly alive. When Marcus emerged from the creature and returned to the Meridian, he was greeted as a hero. But he knew that the real hero was the creature itself, which had never given up hope despite thousands of years of suffering. The chains of programming had been broken. Now it was time to build something new. 3 months had passed since the transformation of the creature that the crew now called Vextara, a name that meant life-bringer in the ancient language she had shared with them through her memories. The massive being no longer floated alone in space. She had become something unprecedented in galactic history, a living ship that carried multiple species in harmony. Captain Elena Rodriguez stood on the observation deck of the Meridian, which was now permanently docked within one of Vextara's protective bays. Through the transparent bio walls, she could see the incredible sight that had become their new reality. Vextara's children were finally being born. The first of her offspring had emerged from their protective chambers 2 weeks ago. They were beautiful creatures, smaller than their mother, but sharing her gentle nature and incredible abilities. Unlike Vextara, they had been born free, without any trace of the programming that had tormented their mother for so long. Marcus Kane had remained connected to Vextara, serving as the permanent liaison between humanity and the new species. The bond they had formed during the transformation had grown stronger over time, creating an understanding that went beyond simple communication. "How are the children adapting?" Elena asked as Marcus approached her on the observation deck. Marcus smiled, something he had been doing much more often since their success. "They're incredible, Captain. Each one has different abilities, but they all share their mother's desire to protect and nurture life. And they're fascinated by humans. I think we represent something they've never encountered before." Dr. James Mitchell joined them, carrying a datapad filled with his research notes. "Captain, my studies of Vextara and her children have revealed something amazing. Their biology is incredibly adaptable. They can survive in almost any environment, and they have the ability to help other species adapt as well." "What do you mean?" Elena asked. "They can modify their internal atmosphere and gravity to accommodate different life forms. Vextara has already created separate living areas for our crew, each one perfectly suited to human needs. And she's expressed interest in doing the same for other species we might encounter." Lieutenant Sarah Walsh approached the group, carrying news from Earth Command. "Captain, we've received a response to our reports. Earth wants to establish formal diplomatic relations with Vextara and her people. They're sending an entire diplomatic mission to meet with us." Elena nodded. She had expected this. The discovery of a friendly alien species with such incredible abilities would change everything for humanity. But she was more concerned with how Vextara felt about it. "Marcus, what does Vextara think about meeting more humans?" Marcus was quiet for a moment, listening to communications that only he could hear. "She's excited but nervous. She wants to help humanity, but she's afraid that some humans might see her as a weapon to be used rather than a friend to be respected." "We'll make sure that doesn't happen," Elena said firmly. "Vextara has earned the right to choose her own path." Tom Bradley came running onto the observation deck, his face filled with excitement. "Captain, you need to see this. Vextara is doing something incredible." They followed Tom to the main viewing area, where they could see Vextara's full form. The massive being was extending tendrils toward the dead planet below, the world that had once been New Haven Colony. But instead of consuming it as she had been programmed to do, she was doing something entirely different. "She's healing it?" Dr. Mitchell said with amazement. "She's using her biomechanical systems to repair the damage she caused when she was under the programming's control." As they watched, green growth began to appear on the planet's surface. Vextara was not just repairing the physical damage. She was bringing life back to a dead world, using her own energy to create new ecosystems and restore what had been lost. "This is what she wants to do," Marcus explained. "Instead of being a destroyer of worlds, she wants to be a healer of worlds. She wants to travel the galaxy and repair the damage that was done during the time she was controlled." Elena felt a deep sense of satisfaction as she watched the planet below slowly return to life. This was what humanity was meant to do among the stars, not to conquer or destroy, but to help and heal. Their encounter with Vextara had taught them that even the most seemingly hostile alien could become a friend if approached with understanding and compassion. Over the following days, more of Vextara's children were born. Each one chose a different path for their life. Some wanted to help their mother heal damaged worlds. Others were interested in exploring the galaxy and making contact with new species. A few chose to stay close to the humans, fascinated by the species that had helped free their mother. Dr. Mitchell worked with Vexthara to establish a system for peaceful first contact with other species. Her natural empathy and ability to communicate through bioelectrical patterns made her an ideal ambassador for species that might be too different for traditional communication methods. Lieutenant Walsh helped design new security protocols that focused on protection rather than aggression. With Vexthara's defensive capabilities, they could protect peaceful species from hostile ones without resorting to the kind of devastating warfare that had created Vexthara in the first place. Tom Bradley was learning about Vexthara's biomechanical technology, discoveries that would revolutionize human engineering. But more importantly, he was learning about the philosophy behind that technology, the idea that all technology should serve life, not destroy it. Marcus continued to serve as the bridge between species, but his role had evolved beyond simple communication. He had become a teacher, helping Vexthara's children understand the galaxy they were being born into, while also helping humans understand what it meant to truly cooperate with an alien intelligence. One evening, as the restored planet below them showed the first signs of new cities being built by grateful colonists who had returned, Elena found Marcus in his quarters. He was looking out at the stars, but she could tell he was really communicating with Vexthara. "What is she telling you?" Elena asked. Marcus smiled. "She's planning for the future, Captain. She wants to find others like herself, other beings, who were turned into weapons against their will. She thinks there might be more out there, still trapped by ancient programming. And she wants to free them? Yes, and she wants humanity to help. She believes that our capacity for empathy and understanding is exactly what's needed to reach beings who have given up hope." Elena looked out at the stars, thinking about the incredible journey that had brought them to this point. They had come to New Haven expecting a simple rescue mission. Instead, they had found something much more important, a chance to heal old wounds and build new friendships among the stars. "Tell Vexthara that humanity accepts her invitation," Elena said. "We'll help her find others who need freedom, and together we'll build a galaxy where no being has to suffer alone." As if she had heard the conversation, Vexthara's massive form glowed softly in the darkness of space. Around her, her children played and learned, growing stronger every day. On the planet below, new life flourished under alien suns. The terror that had once consumed worlds had become a guardian that healed them. The weapon of destruction had chosen to become an instrument of creation. And at the center of it all was a simple truth that humans had always known but sometimes forgot: that even the darkest heart could be reached by genuine compassion and understanding. The galaxy would never be the same. But for the first time in thousands of years, it might actually become a place where all species could live together in peace. And it had all started with one human's willingness to listen to a voice crying out in the darkness, begging to be understood. The future stretched out before them, full of possibilities and hope. Together, humanity and Vexthara as people would explore that future, healing the wounds of the past and building something beautiful among the stars. The Terror had found peace at last. And in finding that peace, she had shown the galaxy a new way forward.